This is the real story of the Great Train Robbery of 1963 and its dashing mastermind. The time was 3 in the morning. The date, 8 August 1963. A British mail train heading from Glasgow to London slowed for a red signal. When the co-engineer of the train went to investigate the delay, he saw that an old leather glove covered the light on the signal. Someone had rigged the light. An arm grabbed the engineer from behind. "If you say a word, you will die," a voice said. Several men appeared from behind. Their faces were covered with helmets and ski masks. This was a scene out of a Hollywood blockbuster. The men, 15 in all, forced the co-engineer onto the driver's car. Within seconds, the driver and the co-driver were knocked unconscious. The criminals then detached the first two of the 12 cars on the train and drove it half a mile further down the track. In the 10 cars left behind, many people sat, unaware of the daring heist about to take place. 15 minutes after stopping the train, all 15 thieves had escaped with pound 2.6 million. Its value today would be around $50 million. That is about 419 crore rupees. This robbery came to be known as the Great Train Robbery and is considered the biggest train heist in international history. This daring train heist was masterminded by an unlikely criminal. His name was Bruce Reynolds. Bruce was the kind of criminal you see in Hollywood blockbusters. A sharp, well-dressed man living the high life. To his friends and acquaintances, he was an upper-class English businessman. He drove an Aston Martin, wore designer clothes, went to scuba diving, and enjoyed all the luxuries of life. No one could guess that he was a thief. In a 2023 interview to the BBC, Bruce's son, Nick Reynolds, who was about 6 at the time of the heist, said that at times his parents would fly from Mexico to Las Vegas just to eat a steak or watch Frank Sinatra perform. That was the kind of lavish life Bruce Reynolds was living. In the 1960s, Bruce was at the height of his criminal game. He loved to take risks, and that was his prime motivation behind the 15-man heist that resulted in the largest train robbery in international history. He assembled a gang of 15 consisting of thieves and crooks, and the rest, as they say, is a story for generations. On the day of the train robbery, after the thieves had escaped, the news of the robbery spread like a wildfire. The famous Scotland Yard sprung to action. After the heist, the robbers had taken the sacks of currency to a nearby farmhouse where they divided the cash. After that, Bruce Reynolds hired 6 thieves to burn down the farmhouse. But the hired thieves did a poor job. During its investigation, the police found a lot of fingerprints. Soon after, 12 of the 15 robbers were arrested and sent to jail. Bruce Reynolds wasn't one of them. After the robbery in 1963, Reynolds lived in many countries, using 5 different names. In 1968, that is 5 years after the robbery, he began to miss England. He and his family returned to London, then moved to Devon. As the story goes, it was the £5 notes Reynolds was using to pay the milkman that first aroused suspicion about the source of his wealth. £5 was a lot of money in those days. The gossip spread and prompted the police to track him down. Another story goes that Bruce tried to contact some of his old associates in London, and the call was traced back to Devon, where he was living with his family. Bruce was asleep when the police surrounded his house the following morning. The police searched the house hoping to find some cash from the train robbery stashed somewhere, but they found nothing. On release, Bruce Reynolds became known as a former criminal. He even acted as a consultant on the film Buster, with Larry Lamb portraying Reynolds. In 1995, he published a book named, guess what? The Autobiography of a Thief. Bruce died in 2013 while sleeping peacefully. He was 81 years old at the time and was struggling for money. About the loot money, police succeeded in recovering approximately 10% of it, but most of the cash taken by the 15 thieves of the Great Train Robbery was never recovered.